right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Tyler Hayden here. So ecstatic that you came to join me today. This is my second live stream ever in the history of my time on LinkedIn. And I just wanted to be able this year to be able to connect a little bit better, a little bit deeper, share with you some ideas, some tools, some techniques that can help you to up-level the work that you're doing when it comes to engagement with your teams. So this is a bit of a learning curve for me. So this is the first time using Restream, which is kind of fun, but also first time putting the live stream out into the internet, which is super exciting. So I know that your time is valuable, and I want to share with you as much ideas and things that you can use and do. So we're going to get right to it. So check this out. Today I'm going to give you 15 different activities, 16 tips of how to run better team building activities, and most importantly, I'm going to give you one laser focused way of approaching how it is that I've done team building for almost a quarter century. So hold on, this is like the capstone. This is like once you see this, you're gonna go, oh right, that makes sense. So here we go. Do you find team building activities that everyone can be like, finding activities that everybody likes as hard as trying to get a cat that likes to flip burgers at the barbecue? I mean, it never fails. You know, we go to a team building activity, we go to put something on, and there's that negative cringe, right? Because somebody doesn't like team building, or they don't like what you've chosen, or, you know, previously they've had a manager or a leader who's subjected them to a team building activity that they just did not align with, you know, and then they start feeling uncomfortable, irritated, and they feel as though this team building thing is a waste of time. But we all know from the engagement stats that team building is super important when it comes to safety, when it comes to B2B sales, B2C sales, when it comes to engagement, retention, all of those metrics that are super important to our bottom lines, both from a human perspective as well as a financial perspective. So, you know, I want to let you know that you are in the right place if you manage a team at work. If you or your team, you want your team more connected, you want your team more engaged at work, either remote or in person. If you're tired of the same old team building activities, you're just looking for some fresh stuff, you're in the right place. If you struggled getting engagement in a short time frame, I'm going to show you how to ramp that up. If you want some new activities that are tested and professional, I'm going to show you some of my faves. And if you want some low cost and effective solutions, I'm going to show you those today. You want things that work for today's workforce. So you don't want to be running team building activities that maybe run 20 years ago or 30 years ago. We want to freshen things up. Or if you want your team members to feel like their valuable time is being invested. If any of those things align with you, I've got some good news, because I'm going to show you exactly how to deliver unique, meaningful, simple, and memorable team building experiences without breaking a sweat. You see, so my general philosophy is that good team building is good team learning. And think about that for a second. Think about the idea that team building function within inside of our team is basically a learning function. We're learning how to work together. We're learning how to be productive, how to be successful, you know, how to trust one another, how to do all of those important skills that allow our projects or that allow our businesses to be successful. So when I think about team building, and in the groups that I've worked with for the last 3 decades, when I think about team building, I think about it in terms of how it is that groups learn. You see, team building is a function of how it is that we learn. And when we approach our team as a learning unit, we're able to provide that laser focus that I was talking about in how we create outcomes and how we create solutions for our teams. So for the last 3 decades, I've been working with everyone from ExxonMobil to Caterpillar to Subway to Michelin to the YPO to PMI, to helping them to invest and engage in their teams in a way that is meaningful. So check this out. This is the laser focus. This is where it will all start to come together for you. You see, team building is about how we create engagement within our teams, and there's lots of learning style stuff. I mean, whether it's Myers-Briggs, whether it's colors, whether it's insert here. There's 100,000 of them, and well, maybe not 100,000. I exaggerate a little bit, but this one that I ran into was built by a Harvard professor, and as soon as I started to learn how it worked, I could see how it applied to the work that I was doing in team design. So Howard Gardner, Harvard professor, wrote this book called Frames of Mind. And Frames of Mind was to help teachers to learn better instructional techniques so that they could match the learning modalities of the children in their room. So that's where it started. And from there, he made suggestions as to the types of jobs that those learners excel in because they have the learning modalities to do well inside of each one of those workplaces. So for example, police officers, heavily body kinesthetic, firefighters, heavily body kinesthetic, it's learn as you go, manufacturing jobs, heavily kinesthetic a lot of the time. Well, and now that we're into robotics, there's other intelligences that would apply there, but those manual, hands-on stuff, body kinesthetic. Mathematical logical, those are our engineers, our accountants, our finance professionals. Visual spatial, our graphics people are often in retail, they're building the beautiful displays, working in digital design. There's so many different, beautiful different ways that they can express their talent and their learning strengths. So as I'm kind of going through all of these intelligences and these jobs that these people could do, I get to thinking to myself, well, now if I'm running an event for a group of accountants, it probably makes sense if I took and did events that fell into the category of mathematical logical. So I started playing with this idea, and little did I know that it was like laser focus. It was like shooting a laser beam at these groups. They became way more engaged. My friend VJ Verma, for those of you who are PMPs or in project management, you might recognize him. He's written a couple books, probably the best-selling book about team building in project management. And he said, "I love the way Tyler's applied multiple intelligences to help leaders choose team building tools. It gives them a measurable way to focus team building efforts, creating greater success for leaders and teams alike." VJ gets it. VJ gets what I was trying to do. VJ gets that, when we're working with a group, and particularly in project management, where our groups are constantly fluxing, we're getting new people, maybe we're working in different projects that we're managing. But inside of each one of those projects, we have different types of learners. So initially, when I started looking at how this whole thing could work, I started doing assessments with teams, and I started looking at, what if we were to do an intake, simple 30-question intake, where would my teams score? Where would my team members score? So each individual, we would have them do this 30-question intake, and we would then put them onto this little spider graph here, and we would log where the learners were, how much they answered inside of each one of those domains. And so if I look at this particular one, if I were picking activities, I would want to make sure they're kinesthetic, interpersonal, and probably have a visual element to it, because that's where we're getting the concentration of learners. Everybody kind of fits into interpersonal. Everybody does fit into interpersonal. Everybody fits somewhere on the scale in kinesthetic. And then there's a few visual learners. So if I want to create a winning program, something that's interpersonal, something where they're connecting one-on-one, where they're able to connect, they're able to work in groups, they're able to hear everybody, taking all those learning domains around being interpersonal, we're going to create a winning program. And what I learned is that I got higher satisfaction scores, happier clients, more successful teams as they engaged in these programs. So, well, don't take my word for it. I'm down with a group in Florida. I'm down in Tampa, and I'm doing a project team workshop with PMI. It was PMI Tampa, I think. We were doing a PDD day, and one of the project managers came up to me and she said, "Tyler, listen, you don't understand. I work at NASA. My team is a group of type A aerospace engineers. They don't do team building." And I thought to myself, wow, what a fabulous group you have. We're going to have to figure out how to connect with them. But I knew exactly what to do to get them to connect. And that was pretty simple. One thing I know about the engineers is that they fall in this category we like to call mathematical logical. And mathematical logical is a type of learner that is interested in the numbers. So they're interested in a winner and a loser. They're interested in making sure that there's some sort of logic to what it is that they're doing. They're interested in making sure that it's quick, it's not too laborious. That doesn't have to have lots of bells and whistles. It just has to be clear, specific, and measurable. And so I gave her this activity. I said, here, try this. I said, try this event that I like to call commonalities. So commonalities is a fabulous event. This is one of the 15 that I'm going to give you today. Commonalities is a great event. It applies to multiple different types of learners. Mathematical logical is one of them. It also affects inspires those that are interpersonal, naturalistic, and linguistic. So commonalities works like this. You can do this with your team today. What you do is you break them down into smaller groups. Maybe groups of 3 would be the minimum. Maximum I usually have is like a group of 8 or 10. And what they have to do is they have to come up with as many commonalities with the people in the team that they're sitting with as they can. So it can't be commonalities like, oh, we all have hair. I mean, that doesn't always work in today's world. We all have, we all drive a pickup truck. It's gotta be stuff you can't see, right? We all drive a pickup truck, or we all have a passport, or we've all traveled overseas, or we're all going away on vacation this year to Disney World. Who knows what it is? But they have to come up with the longest list of commonalities. And the team that can come up with the longest list of commonalities is declared the winner. Mathematical, logical, NASA engineers loved it. They loved it so much, they said to her, we want to do something else tomorrow. That was super fun. So I gave her another activity. I'll tell you about that one in a couple minutes. But that's the benefit of using that laser focus that I call multiple intelligence quotient. It's about understanding the types of learners that we have in our room, and good team building is good team learning. So they learn to work together by doing an activity that they love. And commonalities allows them to do that. Now, there are a couple ways that I prize this. One is the longest list. So the most number of random commonalities. And the other one is I give them a prize for the weirdest or strangest commonality. So that is, or most obscure, maybe you could call it. But that's commonalities. That is a fabulous activity. All right, the next thing that we love to do, if you're mathematical logical, you'll love this. Visual spatial learners, musical learners. It's the lowest population that you'll find. They actually connect close to mathematical logicals a lot of the time, or linguistic intelligence, is brain tease. So when we're doing activities, I'm going to talk about the 3 F's of team building here in a minute. But when we're being conscious about the work that we're about to do with our team, we pick our team building activities so that they reflect the type of learning activity that we're getting involved in. So brain tease, which is basically brain teasers. I just call it brain tease and made a very cool graphic. Brain tease is a great way to get people to start to think strategically. So I'll often do, if we're doing a strategic planning session, if we're talking about budgeting, things like that. If we're having to get kind of focused on the minutia, I will do a thing called brain tease. And basically what it is it's a PowerPoint of different types of team building or of brain teasers. Like, here's a question. You can Google them. Just Google brain teasers. What kind of running means walking? Does anybody know that? Does anybody know that one? What kind of running means walking? Anybody have that? You can throw it into the chat if you know the answer. 3, 2, 1. The answer is running out of gas. All right, how about this one? So here's another one. So these are just very simple. This is just how I present them. I'll often have like chocolate bars. Whoever gets the correct answer, I'll throw them a chocolate bar for getting the right answer. So what is the next letters in this sequence? It's J, F, M, A, M, J. What are the next three letters? What are the next three letters? Anybody know what the next three letters are? The next three letters are J, F, M, A, M, J, J, A, S. So this is the months of the year: January, February, March, April, May, June, and then it's J, A, S, July, August, September. All right, here we go. Next one. Here's another one. This is a great one. This one's really hard. I've actually put this up with engineers before, and structural engineers. Take my face off of the triangle. You have to count how many triangles. So you have to count how many triangles are in this one triangle. And I've put it up before, and people are like counting and counting and counting and counting and counting. And I have yet to get anybody who hasn't seen this brain teaser before get it correct. But I'm going to tell you the answer. You can go and count it on your own. Take a screenshot right about now. There you go. You got your screenshot. Shoot it with your phone. All right. The answer is 47. There's 47 triangles in there. An amazing amount of triangles. All right. But those are awesome. Those are great ways of getting teams focused, particularly those who are mathematical, logical, if you're doing strategy-based activities. I told you I was going to tell you about fun, fast forward, and fix. So they're the three F's of team building. And the three F's of team building work like this. There's three reasons why we should run team building. One is for fun. Now that's typically the stuff that we've been used to over the years when we're providing team building. So when we decided that we're going to have on our schedule and someone's going to write team building, which that's going to be another live cast all in and of itself of how to present team building. When you're doing a team building activity, it's about having fun, whether it's an escape room, maybe it's an axe throwing event, maybe you've got a puzzle piece that you're going to do, maybe you've hired an outside company that's going to do a scavenger hunt or some other type of performance-based team building activity. There's lots of different things that you can do. Maybe you're going to cook together, maybe you're actually going to prepare a meal together at your offsite retreat. There's a lot of ways that you can do team building for fun. And so we do that. We're really good at that. We know what that is. There are two magical spots that we can apply team building that will help to solidify and engage our group. And that's fast forward and fix. Now, fix, we'll start with that one because fix is used when your team is having challenges. Your team is a bit broken, and I've got a blog on that on my site, tylerhayden.com. Inside the blogs there, you'll see a whole thing on how fun fast forward and fix work. And fix is when our team is broken, when we're having challenges between teammates, when we're having challenges maybe with organizationally, and there's some disruption, there's some challenge amongst the team. That's a great opportunity to bring a facilitator in, like myself or hundreds of them online. There's probably a couple who are watching this as well. I saw my friend Brandy had signed up. She's a great team building facilitator to be able to work through some of the challenges that they have. And team building, so fun activities that are connected to their learning domains can help to create safe spaces to have the conversations and to come up with solutions around those things that need to be fixed. And then there's fast forward. Now, fast forward is the magic. I love fast forward because I think fast forward is the quickest, easiest, and best way that we can add team building into the work that we do as managers and leaders. You see, what we could do is when we're doing a training event, whether we're training for a new product rollout, maybe it's a new piece of software, maybe we're doing a strategic plan, maybe we're talking about our visions, our values, whatever the reason is that we're getting together, this is an opportunity where we can do activity that helps to bring us a little bit closer together. And when we start to choose the activities, like say we took brain tease before we were doing a strategic session, so it was a fun, lighthearted way of connecting about strategy. and about getting our brains to work in a strategy way. But we do it in a way that allows the team to kind of connect just that little bit more, to create that unique experience and that shared experience where they then have the opportunity to reflect back and demonstrate some success together. We're just constantly laying down and building bedrock of success for our teams. So that's fast forward is the magic. I mean, that's the best place to find budget, because you have a budget allocated for your sales rollout or for your new piece of software. But going to try to find a budget item for team building might be a little bit more challenging. So you can put it inside of one of those other objectives. All right. So that's the three types of the three F's: the fun, fast forward, and fix. You'll see the word development and performance development on top. So we're trying to develop our teams in 3Fs, mostly during fun and fast forward, just develop the relationships. And fast forward and fix, that's when we're trying to tweak the performance of the teams that we're working with. All right, so here we go. We're gonna move forward, and I wanna share with you a couple more activities. This is one of my faves. This is called Coffee Talk. And Coffee Talk is a great way to frame discussion. Body kinesthetic learners like it because it's quick, it's fast, it's pithy, it's constantly moving. Interpersonal learners like it because it's a way in which they can connect and get to know another person in kind of an intimate and professional way. Linguistic learners like it because it's got language, and it has to be thoughtful language because it has to happen quickly. You only have a couple minutes in order to answer each question. So how to play Coffee Talk? You can do this with your team straight away. You just got to make yourself a logo, a little keynote presentation or PowerPoint presentation. You can download them at Team Building School if you just want to use our templates. Please feel free to head over to teambuildingschool.com and you can check out the toolbox of teams. We've got a bunch of stuff in there that you can copy and utilize. All right, so here's how it goes. What you do is you throw a question up on the screen like this that says, "My dream vacation is," so an open-ended statement. And you get one person from a pair of two. You get everyone to get into dyadics, into teams of two. One of the two people put their hand in the air. They're the volunteer. They get to answer first. They answer the question. They've got 30 seconds to answer the question. So they answer the question for 30 seconds or 1 minute if you like, and then you can say switch. And then the other person gets to answer the question. So you keep taking turns of who would like to go first, and then you switch questions. And whoever went first the first time goes second the second time, and whoever went second the first time gets to go first. Anyway, you trade turns going first and second. And you roll through all of the different questions so that at the end of the day, you've got the opportunity to learn a little bit something new about that person. Now, you can use this not only for get to know you type activities and get to know you type questions, but you could also splinter in or sprinkle in, that's what we're looking for, sprinkle in some very functional learning stuff. So maybe you have, maybe you want to talk, maybe you're doing a lessons learned at the end of a project, and you say, okay, what were the two most important learning points, or what were our two biggest gaps, or where did we fail the worst? What would have made your job easier? Blah, 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 blah. You can ask all of those types of questions. All right, next one that we built, and this one is in Team Building School. If you want to head over and check that out, we'd love to have you head over. Look at this little screen I can make. It will say Team Building School. Check out teambuildingschool.com. I'm trying out this Restream thing. Anyway, so you can come over and check out for more there. So team building, this is the magic 2-ball. I'm going to get rid of that thing. Go away. All right. The magic 2-ball, this is great for body kinesthetic, linguistic, and interpersonal learners. Basically, what happens is you click on the magic 8-ball, it shakes, it makes a noise, and then out pops a question. And you can structure the questions in any way you want. So you can actually go in and edit them. And then when you're finished asking that question, you click on the magic 2-ball that's in the lower corner, and that'll take you back to the beginning, and then it'll randomize the question. This one we did as a mentoring event. So we were getting mentors to talk about what mentoring was all about, how did it work, how can we be successful at it, and we just used this tool that we customized so that they could be asked questions that were very specific just to mentoring. So that's that fast forward being applied to the type of team building that we're doing. All right, here we go. Check it out. Next one. Here's a fun one. So interpersonal, body kinesthetic, naturalistic, and mathematical logical. So mathematical logical like this because it's like there's a beginning and an end and a middle. There's strategy. Naturalistic like it because there's like a journey, a process. It has a cultural connect. Body kinesthetic like it because it's crazy fun, exciting, and it's done really quick, and they get to be like, they get to use those muscles of like those physicality muscles, but intellectually. And interpersonal like it because they get to work together as a group. And this is a cash mob. And what the cash mob is maybe you're having lunch with your team, and instead of going and ordering in pizza or ordering in sandwiches, if you're in the right location, what we'll do is we'll often hand $20 to each one of the people in the team, or $15 to each person in the team, and they'll go do a cash mob. They'll pick a small vendor, and they'll go eat with them. So we're seeding and we're doing some stuff in the community. Naturalistic love that because that's that cultural connect. They get to go out and explore things. Kinesthetic people get to go and find their lunch. Interpersonal people get to go together and they get to have lunch, and it's social and all that kind of stuff. So we've done it for that. We've also done it when maybe you're having a committee meeting and you're hosting a PDD day or a conference day, and you want to give out gifts to people who are presenting. Well, give some money to your committee, take them down to a nice little artistic market area inside your community, and send them out to go and find what the gifts can be. And they each come back with a different gift, and they get to tell the story of the gift that they purchased. So taking events, things that you have to do anyway, and instead of just buying a $40 gift card to insert, large chain store here, you're maybe buying a piece of artwork from an artist vendor down by the river, or a beautiful pinch pot from a potter. Like that kind of stuff helps to generate some connection with inside the team. Because at the end of the day, it's about taking ordinary events, ordinary things that we would necessarily do, and making them absolutely extraordinary. Whether I'm working with it's architects, salespeople, bankers, youth at risk, or insurance people. Those are the photos as you go along left to right. It's about creating an extraordinary event out of ordinary activities. How do we turn our average worker into an extraordinary raving fan with simple, easy to apply, plug and play team building solutions that will make your teams more effective and more efficient? We're wondering about why it is we're doing this team building stuff. Well, these are the numbers. These are the reasons why we're doing it. If we want an engaged team, the stats tell us that we're getting 20% higher sales, 21% higher profitability out of an engaged team. So that's why we're doing the team building work. 17% higher productivity, 10% higher customer metrics, 40% fewer defects, 41% lower absenteeism, 24% lower turnover in B2C, 59% lower turnover in B2B, 28% less shrinkage, and get this, 70% fewer safety incidences. When we think about why we're doing this or where our budget comes from, think about what you pay on WCB claims, on workers' compensation claims, or as I tell my managers and leaders, if you want more, if you need another FTE, if you're working short, what you probably need to do is to be able to find a way to get 10% out of each one of your existing 10 employees. If you get 10% out of each, 10% more engagement and more productivity out of 10 employees, that's like having your one FTE. And that's what team building delivers for us. That's why it's a core skill that the successful managers need to be able to employ. I mean, the number one reason why people leave is because they don't like the manager that they're working with. Team building is a great way to increase your likability. So how about this one for a likability factor? This one is one I call two thumbs up. So the way two thumbs up works is this. There's a bunch of random questions inside the card deck. So one might be amusement ride. And each person's going to get a card and they're going to pass the cards around and they're going to go clockwise one at a time. And they're going to say, my favorite amusement ride is... And then they're going to put it in. Mine would be like the Gravitron or, a roller coaster. And those people that agree with me, they would be like, if they like super agree, they'll give me two thumbs up. If they're kind of like that idea, they'll give me one thumbs up. If they don't really like it, they'll give me a one thumbs down. If they're like, I am not a roller coaster fan, they'll give two thumbs down. Why do we do this? Well, it demonstrates and gives us the opportunity to know who we can connect with, who's into the same things that we're into, and who are the people that might think a little bit differently. It's okay to have those differing opinions, but it's great to be able to figure out who you align with, who maybe you don't align with. You might have to work a little bit harder to create those common features together. So other questions you might ask are, where's my favorite place in my home? Another question we like to ask is way to spend my summer evening. Like for me, it's sitting out by the beach and having a campfire. That is my absolute 100% favorite way is, Meg and I sitting down with a glass of wine right by the beach, fire crackling. Can't get any better than that. Or, what's your favorite smell? Mine is either popcorn. I love popcorn. I love going to the movie theater and smelling popcorn. Yeah, that is probably one of my favorite things in the world. So those are some of those are a few different activities you could do. They're all included in books that I've written. I've written The Business that Cared About People, Virtually Engaged, and Team Building Activities. They're all available on Amazon if you want to check those out. There's a bunch of different activities in there. Inside the school, if you join the undergraduate, which I know we have one member who came to watch today. She is a member, and so she has full access to all of those books. I think there's about 20 books inside of the app that will inside the school that will let you access and really delve deep into your virtual team or your in-person team, or the team building activities. One is for our little retreat plans, so they're actual lesson plans that you can just plug and play at your next event. So how do we run Blawbusters? Blawbusters are what it's all about. Often when we go into a meeting and we're running an icebreaker, we're looking at how do we keep people engaged inside of that icebreaker. Well, here are my 7 favorite tips, or seven separate reasons why we do it. So this is the 7 reasons why we do it. One is it sets the tone for the meeting. It lets people know that we're going to be working hard. It's going to be fast paced. It's going to look like this. We're going to use some of those strategy based activities that I talked about earlier on in the session, because that's what we're working on today. So we're doing that fast forward stuff. Another thing is we're helping to acquaint people to one another. Often when we come together, people don't necessarily know who's who in the zoo. So this gives us an opportunity to connect. We get to reduce interpersonal anxieties. So, by taking off the mask, people are turning on their cameras, maybe if it's a virtual meeting. If you're person to person and you're doing the thumbs up activity, you're creating those common features, or you're playing the game of commonalities. You're coming up with common platforms in which we can work that will help to reduce those interpersonal anxieties that team members often can have. It's fun. We recognize that this is a fun but a professional way of running business. We table set outcomes for the meeting. So inside of the icebreakers, we're actually presetting what it is that our outcomes are going to look like. And I'll share with you how to do that another day. This is a little more detailed, but how do we table set? How do we table set what's about to happen in the learning event that we're creating? Establish and acquaint people with the meeting, the tools, and the apps. So I'll often use the icebreakers to be able to get people to go into the Miro board or into the whiteboard that we're using, so that we can go in and learn how to play and move things around and type and build a shape and all those types of things, because those might come in handy later as we are building our strategic plan, or building our operational plan, or talking about risk, transferring risk, whatever the outcome is. But we get to work in the app or the tool in kind of like not a stressful way, in a very diffused way. And it's a great way to re-energize a meeting. So, as you're coming back from a lunch or a break, or heading people off into a break, this is a great way to re-energize the meeting. Another tip, here we go. This is 9 tips for knowing, I'm gonna get my face off there, 9 tips for knowing how to run your icebreaker. Too often I see folks who are running icebreakers and they stop when the activity has already had its best time. I'm a big believer that we stop when it's the most fun. So you can tell people, oh yeah, this is a 2-minute activity. And after about a minute, you notice that they're just having the time of their life. Well, that can be the end of the 2 minutes. They're not going to know. They don't have a stopwatch going. And we let them leave as they're starting to hit their peak. That will leave them wanting more. Number 2, switch up energy. Move, sit, go outside, go inside, stand up at the boardroom table, go to the back of the room. Anything you can do to switch up the energy will help to get the blood flowing and help getting people moving in their brains and in their bodies, which will help in the outcomes of the meetings. Keep entire activity directions to a minimum and simple. So no matter what you do, no matter what activity you're running, make sure you know it inside, outside, upside down, and backwards, and be able to provide those directions in a way that are succinct. Because the more succinct and clear you can be, the sooner we can get to actually playing the activity. Number 4, keep an eye for differing abilities. So respecting DEI, sex, gender, religion, race, ethnicity, all that kind of stuff, all the things. We want to be attentive to that and honor that as we're working with the groups, because people can get pushed outside of a team pretty quick if you go and you do things that disrespect or aren't inclusive of those pieces. Match to their MIQ. So that was the beginning. We want to be able to look at people's intelligence, make sure that you're picking them according to the types of learners they are, the type of activity that you're providing. Make sure that good team building is good team learning. It's the process, not the product, that matters. Don't get hung up on whether or not people finish the race or people have made the best cutout snowflake. It doesn't matter. It's the process of building the snowflake. It's the process of being involved in the race or communicating with one another while you're doing the race that really matters. And you encourage that in the debrief that you do at the end of any activity. Your nonverbals matter. This is number 7, lucky number 7. Your nonverbals matter. So if you're not making eye contact, if you're not leaning in, if you've got a closed up posture, all those things we know, you're going to push people away from the activity you're doing. Number 8 is to tie it into a theme or learning of the meeting. Adults like there to be like a gateway when you walk into an event. They like to know that this is the theme. It's the 007 theme. It's the, Bermuda Triangle theme, whatever the theme is. We want to be able to create a theme for that meeting. And then the activities become natural extensions to those themes. So then we tie and maybe we rename the activities. We do new graphics. You could use AI for all that kind of stuff. It's super simple. And then we can start to deliver stuff that has a theme, has an entire bucket, has a whole story that is being told. Number 9 is have fun, but remember that it is a business meeting. Very often we get involved in doing events, and what happens is it becomes more, people feel that it's more about the fun than it is about the actual activity that we are providing. So remembering that the business outcomes are super important in the activities that we're doing. So some of the things, if you do decide to come over to our team building school, that's teambuildingschool.com, you can check out our From Strangers to Soulmates database. We've got a couple hundred different itemized different activities. So you can search things and be like, hey, I need a icebreaker activity that's 5 minutes long, virtual, for interpersonal learners, and it'll give you a bunch of different recommendations on how to actually do them. Built to Bond Library gives you a bunch of more, gives you access to all those books that we were talking about, so you can check those out. Not that you need to join, but if you decide that you'd like to join, by all means, come over. We'd love to see you. All right, so next activity, we got a few more activities for you. I got a few more minutes. I'm going to pack them in. This one is super fun. This is a cash mob. So for those of you that might remember, like, oh, that's not what I want to tell you about. We already did cash mob. Crown Jewels, that's the one I wanted to talk to you about. So this is like your Ocean's 8 or 11, or like the Italian Job. Remember those movies? I love those. This one is all about having your group come up with the perfect crime. So how would you, rob Fort Knox? How would you steal the Crown Jewels? And give them enough time and maybe a map where they can like plan it all out, and then they have to explain their plan. So great, like strategy, operational orientation. Like if you're going to do some operational stuff, maybe some logistics stuff, how we move products, parcels, all that kind of stuff. Maybe you're COO. This is a great activity that can get people to start to think strategically and how they would map things and what the journey would look like. Could be maybe you're doing a sales journey. How are we going to curate our customer? How are we going to get them from point A to purchase? This is a great one that this will do that for you. So it can fall into the fast forward category for sure, and can just be fun if you want to just have like something just to break up the day. It's a fun one. Another one that I like is Answers in a Hat. And Answers in a Hat is great for your body kinesthetics and your intrapersonals, because they get to put a little bit of thought into it. They do have a little bit of a pushback because they want more time to be able to think about what they're writing. Kinesthetics love it because they just get to dump what they're thinking in. But basically, you just take a hat and you go around, you ask a question, and people dump their answers into the hat. So if you're doing lessons learned, you're doing a debrief at the end of your event, this is a great activity. And then you can like pull out the notes that are inside the hat. You can then categorize them, organize them, by putting them on the table, up on a wall. You can start to build mind maps, all that kind of stuff. It's a great way to kickstart the conversation, particularly with groups that might find it a little more difficult or a little more daunting. I do this a lot with groups that have multiple levels within the business because it levels out people's ideas. Oftentimes, SVPs, we kind of go with their ideas, but the juniors have some pretty cool emerging ideas that we want to hear from as well. And this levels the playing field a little bit, at least in the beginning. And then it's up to your facilitation skills to be able to let the rest move through the rest of the system. All right. So this is Hugh Richards. He said about some of my toys, he said, I was impressed with his fantastic selection of books and team building activities, so much so that I purchased everything he had that day. One team building activity I frequently use is Team Building 20, a fun and interactive get-to-know-you activity that allows my course participants to have fun while learning about each other. Team Building 20 is a great icebreaker activity, or just an amusing way to break up the day with an injection of fun and laughter. My participants simply love it, and I enjoy delivering my courses more because of this great activity that Tyler's created. So that's Hugh Richards. He's a PMP instructor here in Canada, actually. And this is the activity that he speaks of. I put that in there so you could see him and know that this is alive and well in the project management world. So this is Team Building 20. And Team Building 20 works like this. It's a series, it's a card game. And you can actually download my book. It's as an ebook from Kindle, and you could just swipe through the pages, and each page will give you a new card. And each card looks like the card that's on the screen there, where it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it has a who, what, when, where, how, and why question. And what you do is you roll a dice, get a big fuzzy dice or just a regular Yahtzee type dice, roll the dice, and whatever comes up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, the person whose turn it is, they get to answer that question. It's really that simple, but you can adjust the questions. That's what makes this so beautiful is if you go into team building school, you can actually download the template and you can just easily update a who question to frame it around your specific project or your specific business. So maybe you're doing an onboarding program. You can build a team building 20 that is specific to your organization and your team building outcomes that you're looking to receive for that onboarding session. So this is one that is super fun, great for fast forward and fun. Okay, next one is I like you because this one's super cool. All you have to do is you take a piece of paper and you tape it to the back of each participant. When you write on the top of it, I like you because each person gets a marker. They wander around, maybe while they're on a coffee break, and they write on the backs of the participants the reasons why they like that person. So I like you because you're friendly. I like you because you always get your projects done on time, because I can always ask you questions. And then at the end of the session, they can pull it off and they can read all the reasons why people in their team like them. So that's a great one. You can do it virtually as well. Just get one person to tabulate all the things that people are talking about, and then they pass it around. So that's that one. Next one that I love is House of Cards. House of Cards is a fabulous activity. It's basically like your regular Jeopardy styled Q&A type of question, but we have it inside Team Building School, just very elegant and kind of Art Deco style, and you can go through and you can ask specific questions. Next one that I love is a pipe cleaner interview, also known as Think, Pair, and Share. The way this one works is I give everybody a pipe cleaner and I break them into partners. And one of the partners puts their hand up first. They go first. They get to talk for 1 minute or 2 minutes, whatever you like, about themselves. Absolutely everything that they know about themselves. They brain dump to their partner. Their only job is to listen. They can't write anything down. All they do is listen. And as they're listening, they'll jot down mental notes of all the things that person says. Then they get 30 seconds to repeat back everything they heard that person say to them, all the brain dump that they just did. Then you switch positions. So whoever was listening first then gets 2 minutes to talk. The person who was talking first gets to listen. They repeat things back. Then they take their pipe cleaner and they build a structure that will show what it is that they liked about what that person said. Maybe it's like a common through line. Maybe it's something that they thought was really important, and they'll make them a little structure and they'll gift it to them and explain why they made that particular pipe cleaner for that person. So they get a gift at the end of the day. Last one I'm going to share with you is called Monet's Canvas. This is like paint night for your team. This is one that we did for Health Canada. And basically you come up with a question. So a question that needs to be answered that is focused. And then each person builds a painting that answers that question. Then we set up all the paintings around the room. We get grape juice or wine and cheese, and we have an art opening. And each one of the artists then explains each one of their paintings. We then as a group have a conversation about how those paintings interrelate. What are the common themes? And then at the end of the day, I screw all of the paintings together, and that gets posted up inside of the office space. So you're building custom art for your office space. But that's the way that we do Monet's Canvas. So there you go. There you have it. Those are a bunch of different activities that you can do. And if you want to join us at the Team Building School, we do have a ton of stuff available to you inside of the school. So I'd highly recommend that you check it out. We've got everything from the big box of team building tools. There's, I think, 20 different team building tools in there. Everything with videos of me actually providing the activity or leading the activity, to downloadables that you can customize. There's the books, there's the database, there's a couple learning tools in there to take you through what is MIQ, how does that work, lifetime student membership. You get to join the circle, you get to ask questions in Facebook. We have a private Facebook group where you can ask me questions. I'll help you with your team building activations. We're gonna have a virtual summit this year, later in the year, so you're welcome to that. And you get a free ticket to that, as well as Catching the Carrot. You get a masterclass in writing a personal strategic plan. And that is, oh yeah, here we go. This is the whole, it's not $4,000. It is $649 is the regular price, but no, it's not $649. It is, where is it? There it is, $449. There you go. So yeah, if you want to join us, please feel free to jump in. As my friend Lee Lambert says, as a PMI fellow, long-standing member of the organization, it's been my pleasure to attend and participate in dozens of PMI symposia, conferences, and PDD events throughout the world. In fact, he helped design the PMP. During that time, there's been one professional who has never failed to intrigue me with his fantastic presentation skills and his uncanny ability to create interesting results when it comes to providing insight techniques for delivering and maintaining high-performance teams. This guy rocks. That's what Lee says. I'll let you be your own judge of character on that one. But I love Lee. He's an absolute amazing professional, and I take his words to heart. So he's a fabulous individual for sharing that. So yeah, so if you do want to join us at Team Building School, by no means was today to get you to buy anything. It's not my goal. My goal was to deliver some great content that you could use. I hope that you enjoyed some of the 15 different team building activities, tip of the iceberg of what's inside Team Building School, and tip of the iceberg of what is about to come. There are thousands more. You're welcome, Christiane. It was my pleasure. And if you wanna jump online, come and join us in Team Building School. There's a discount code there called Fast Action. Put it in and you get a big discount on becoming a member. We'd love to have you. If you want to learn more and you don't want to become a member of our school, that's fine too. You can go to Amazon, you can go to YouTube, you can join me on LinkedIn like you did here today, and on YouTube today. You can join us and there'll be random things coming out that will help you. But if you really want to dive deep, if you really want to figure out how to build that better team, head on over to Team Building School, become a member. I will work with you on your activations and work with you on helping to align and engage your teams. So there we go. We have 1 hour. Did it? We did it in 59 minutes. We did it in 49 minutes, 51 minutes. If there are any questions, I'm going to stick online here for a couple of minutes and I will chat back and forth. But I will put up that whole screen and keep your eyes out. I'm going to try to run 1 or 2 of these every month. So keep your eye out for future live events. I'm not sure what the next one's going to be. If you have some ideas or you have some questions, feel free to send them over. But I will let you know what the next one's going to be upcoming in the next few days, so you can join me. And I would love to be able to share with you some more ideas of how to up-level your team and build greater connection inside of the work that you do. So thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Tyler Hayden. Come and join us at teambuildingschool.com. Or tylerhayden.com. If you've got an event coming up, I love doing keynotes. I love doing management consulting. If there's a way that I can help out, I would be honored. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.